Okay, we're going to start with the nation. APC picks Akpabio, Abbas as Senate President and Speaker, respectively. Tight security in Osun ahead Supreme Court's verdict. Lautech doctors on strike. Presidential Tribunal strikes out AA's suit. 400,000 youths participate annually in NYSC program. 40 worshippers abducted during church service. And I don't know obedience, says Soyinka. Let me start with the Lumber story. Okay. Professor Wole Soyinka was saying yesterday that he wouldn't use the word reconcile, going by the media reports concerning his visit, the visit of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi to him on Sunday. So Peter Obi had tweeted that he had gone to visit the Nobel laureate. He said he had visited one of Nigeria's most revered figures, Professor Wole Soyinka, and he went to just see him, just to have a conversation, just to ensure that everything is on the same page. But then the reports came after that meeting saying that it was some kind of a reconciliation, and Professor Wole Soyinka said, "Were they fighting?" Then there was no fight now. That he doesn't even know that he knows the entity Peter Obi as a person who ran on the platform Labour Party. However, he doesn't know obedience. He doesn't understand the movement, and he's not aware of them. But he understands and appreciates the person of Peter Obi, who has come to him, and they've had the hatred for Peter Obi, for Professor Wole Soyinka came after he had accused the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Dati Ahmed, saying as a fascist, if you recall, based on his interview at Channels TV some time back. So that was what happened, and then the obedience went for him. And since then, they've been attacking him. He just went to say, I don't know who they are, I don't know obedience, but I know Peter Obi as a person, and I had a meeting with him, and it was a good meeting, and there was nothing to reconcile because there were no issues on ground. Okay.
So the National Youth Service Corps Area Director of the Northeast, Ahijo Yahaya, spoke yesterday in Bauchi on the sidelines of a unity walk as part of the activities to mark the NYSC's 50th anniversary. And he said about 400 graduates participate in the National Youth Service Corps yearly. According to him, he said the scheme has done well in the area of national integration, promotion of an affiliation and collaboration among government agencies to make the country a better place. And the scheme was created in 1973 after the Civil War by the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, to help unite the country. They said they've done well in the last 50 years and they will continue to do well for the development of Nigeria. And he said when the scheme started in 1973, the corps members were no more than 1,000 a year, but today they produce up to 400,000 yearly in that development. And at the inception, their only mandate was national integration. But now they have gone beyond that. They have a lot of programs aside that national integration. And they talked about how even in elections, we see that a lot of NYSC corps members use the opportunity for them to grow their skills, you know, and do other self-reliance, you know, acquisition programs in the scheme as well. So they've done a lot. You know, they talked about all the achievement that they have done so far, how some of them graduate to becoming entrepreneurs just from their experience in NYSC, basically.
Yeah, that's good. I want to take the story about Lautech doctors withdrawing services. They said they had given an ultimatum, and the Medical and Dental Association of Nigeria's chairman in that particular area, his name is Dr. Ayobami Alabi, and his secretary, Dr. Taiwo Alatishe, in a statement said that they'll be going on, they'll be withdrawing their services, said that they are calling for this because they've tried to resolve their issues with the management. They said that they reached out to the management to explain the fact that there are challenges before there's a total collapse. That's their word. They said, we have made efforts in the past to safeguard the hospital from total collapse and to reposition it for better training, research and services, which is why it was established. And they said the salaries haven't been paid for the recent employees who are in their association. They also mentioned that there's arrears of salaries from 2016 to 2017, and the management has refused to pay. And because of these reasons, they have withdrawn their services at the Ladoke Akintola University Teaching Hospital in Ogbomoso.
Wow. Okay. The Punch, very quickly. Tribunal. Tinubu Atiku Obi legal battle commences. Oshimbajo presents discharge certificate to Transcorp Power. Bandits kidnap 40 Kaduna worshippers, 9 MES children. FG plans rescue of Nigerian domestic workers in Iraq. Adeleke Oyetola hopeful as Supreme Court delivers judgment today. High duty vehicle imports crushed by 128%. National Assembly, APC picks Akpabio and Abbas. Let me start with NAPTIP. So NAPTIP has said that they will be working as a national agency for the prohibition of trafficking in persons. We'll be working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to assist Nigerian women who are trapped in Iraq. According to the spokesperson, Zach Dawda, he was saying that they have an alarming number of Nigerian women who have been trafficked as domestic workers to Iraq, and they're all complaining and they want to come back home. According to the spokesperson, they're inundated with pleas of rescue and repatriation from female victims trafficked to Iraq, especially in the cities of Baghdad and Basra, where they were distributed to homes by their recruiters for a hard life of domestic servitude.
Wow.
Said some rogue recruiters had taken them from Nigeria, taken them to Baghdad, and they have been living under hard conditions. Many of them are in hospitals, and they are seeking to be taken back home to Nigeria. So they are working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to see how they can quickly bring these women home. Unfortunately, they don't have a number of how many of these women are in this condition, but you know, there are quite a number of them that have been sending messages and begging
So they want to come
Nigeria.
home.
This is quite sad.
Sad.
Greener pastures,
Yes,
and people,
we need to be very careful.
People taking advantage of other people, because the real thing is those kingpins who are arranging and promising a brighter future for people over
Yes,
there.
tell them they'll get them jobs in schools and homes.
People should open their eyes. I want to take the story about high import duty and its impact, because apparently, because of the need for funds, the government has increased import duties on vehicles, and we have seen the result. Between 2021 and 2023, first quarter report shows that in 2021, 117,830 vehicles were imported. But in 2023, first quarter is showing only 51,782 vehicles were imported, showing a 128% crash. The drop of about 40% in the number of imported vehicles that came into the country between January and October last year, as compared to the figure before then, they said is blamed on high duty. The services, the Nigerian custom is saying the implementation of the VIN. I know that when the story came out, many of the clearing and clearing agents were complaining that this is going to impact their businesses.
Yeah.
There are many. We have a lot of hardship in Nigeria already. The government should find a way to. I don't want to get money in, but obviously this is not correlated.
But also, you know what, Nigeria is trying to also stop importation of these vehicles.
Yes,
So
are we going to buy the local coupled ones
there's
here?
also, there are different angles to this. You can't cut one and then...
It's a money generating.
So we'll see how that goes. Another
We need to
story-
decide, yes. So the Christian Association of Nigeria on Monday raised alarm that about 40 worshippers were kidnapped on Sunday at Bege Baptist Church, Mandala, Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The chairman in Kaduna State, Reverend John Hayab, spoke to newsmen on Monday, and he said the incident happened about 9:30 a.m. when the worshippers were in service in church along Buruku Baringi Road. He said they were there and they heard gunshots, and by the time people came out to understand what was happening, 40 of the worshippers were kidnapped, and on their way, I think 15 escaped and found their way back. They were able to cut away with just about 25 of the remaining persons. Till now, they have not sent any message, they've not sent any word to the church or the family members, so they don't know what to expect of the people that have been taken away. Also, there was also another incident that happened. Some terrorists invaded the palace of Emir of Kagako in southern Kaduna. Alhaji Saad Abubakar kidnapped 9 of his children and his youngest wife. The police is still yet to respond to what has happened so far.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to continue with Daily Sun. Opposition parties group kick as APC zones National Assembly positions. Remembers Day, IPOB declared sit at home May 30th. Fire incidents will not affect our operation, says EFCC. Bandits attack church, abduct 40 worshippers in Kaduna. Court voids Obaseki's suspension of trade unions' activities in Edo tertiary institutions. Presidential Tribunal begins sitting, warns parties against delayed tactics and technicalities. Anxiety in Osun as Supreme Court delivers judgment today. Okay, which story are we starting with?
You want to go?
Let's start with, yes, let me start with Governor Obaseki. Unfortunately, the court, that's the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, has found the directive of the Edo State government has last year, June 2022, where he gave a directive to stop and suspend all trade union activities. So the court has found it unconstitutional. They gave a verdict yesterday. It was, I'm trying to name it, Justice Adewemimo ruled that the state government was wrong to have suspended the trade union activities and other tertiary institutions in the state. Maybe the party, the teachers and trade union members had taken them to court because the governor had said that you cannot be having unions in our state. And of course, we knew it was legal, but it was legal. But now the court has declared it illegal and said that they cannot infringe on the rights of the people to associate or to gather or have their own unions. So I'm happy for the people, but I don't know how what that's going to mean for them in the state, because the governor really was trying to curb or to nip in the bud the activities of some of these teachers last year, and that when he made that directive in Edo State.
But then it would seem like he's infringing on their rights.
Of course.
According to the courts, anyway. Yes. So the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has assured the public that last Friday's incident at its Enugu Zonal Command will not affect its operations. The spokesperson of the EFCC, Wilson Owujarin, in a statement in Abuja yesterday, said that give an assurance to the public after they carried out an inspection, because I think there was like a fire outbreak that happened at the zonal office in Enugu. So they had to do a tour of the facility affected by the fire, and he said it did not affect the critical components of their work in that place. And most of their materials have already gone through digitization. So everything that they have in their different zonal offices, they have a backup already in Abuja, which was, laudable. And so they said right now, all they know that the fire incident was triggered by a surge, electricity surge, but probably investigations may show something different, but that's all they can say concerning the fire. But that work continues to go on since they already have their backup of everything that they're doing, that they are highly ICT sophisticated. So that's a good one.
Good. I want to take the story about ECOWAS applauding our president. So the president of ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Aliyu Toure, gave a commendation speech at the first ordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament yesterday, and he started his speech by acknowledging His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Republic of Nigeria. That was the way he said it, and he was appreciating that under the watch of our president, Nigeria came back into taking a leadership role in ECOWAS, providing regional support, mediation, peacekeeping, and health, security development of the community and the institution of ECOWAS. He also lauded the fact that he also applauded the fact that Nigeria's democracy had improved to the extent of conducting an election, and he celebrated the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Then he went ahead to now talk about the fact that Guinea-Bissau has also been very supportive, and they also are having a legislative election, and ECOWAS will be supporting Sierra Leone. It's just good, though, because Nigeria, we tend to just think of ourselves as Nigeria like we're the entire world, but there are other countries close to us that we have relationships with.
I said a few weeks after the elections that some countries are actually looking to INEC to help them conduct elections in Africa, because INEC is like the
we have BIVAS, we have IREB.
So they are trying to.
So
we'll see.
They're aspiring to us.
Our democracy and our electionary process is sophisticated.
But
we can still get better.
Anyways, of course, there's always room for improvement. Let me move to Vanguard. Avoid technicalities, delays, court warns parties and lawyers. People do not take any political story. Okay.
Leave them.
Then National Assembly. APC zone Senate presidency to South, Northwest, and the get speaker slot. Sudan crisis, 129 more evacuees arrive Abuja. Picketing, Labour tackles fan MD over comments. Don't interfere in choice of new Alaafin. Royal families tell Makinde. Reconciliation not discussed during Obi's visit to Soyinka. And AFAM, federal government gives discharge of certificate to Transcorp Power Limited. Let me start with Ibadan. So 9 out of the 11 royal families in Oyo town yesterday warned Governor Seyi Makinde from taking any further action regarding the selection of the new Alaafin of Oyo until the case has been resolved. According to them, to Prince Afolabi Adesina from the Adeiton royal family, who was the spokesperson for the 11 families, urged the governor to follow due process and ensure equity, fairness, justice in the selection of the new Alaafin. The families allege that they have been marginalized in the appointment and selection process of the Alaafin over the years, adding that the Agunloye and the Alodolu families of the 11 families within the Atiba lineage have been ruled without allowing the other 9, have ruled without allowing the other 9 to attain the stool of their forefathers. So they're saying, President, Governor, step out of the way, let's follow due process.
Yeah. So 129 Nigerian returnees from Sudan arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, yesterday. They arrived at the airport and the nation's capital on board, Taco Airlines from Port Sudan. They arrived at 9:15 a.m. and they were processed by officials with filling the returnee registration forms handed to them by the government officials. There were 124 adults and 5 infants, and they were received by officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerian Immigration Office, and also the Nigerian Police Force, National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and the military as well. They said over 1,000 Nigerians were still stuck in Sudan, and there are plans to still bring them back. So altogether, about 800 arrived Nigeria successfully yesterday.
So the picketing, Labour tackles the FAN MD, that's the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria MD, and the words were strong. As I was reading it, I was shocked. They said that, they said Captain Rabiu Yadudu should regulate his mouth and stop. I'm telling you, strong words. They say regulate his mouth and stop informing the public that is unbridled arrogance and inhibitive ignorance. That this made him describe their actions as the NLC as outlawed, that they informed the authorities that they were going to picket, and that picketing is not against the law, and that he is aware of the reason for the picketing. It's not to disrupt what is going on within the airport, but to do this in solidarity with what happened in Imo State, recalling that everybody should be aware of what happened in Imo State, where workers were harassed by what happened at the Owerri airport, where members were harassed by the Imo State government. And he said that the NLC or TUC has no reason to massage anybody's ego, but the focus is they're not satisfied with the way he spoke about their picketing, that they had a right to picket, and many other things, but really strong language.
Okay, our final paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. Opposition heightens as APC NWC adopts Akpabio and Abbas. Our 36th memorial anniversary, a patronal day, hold today in Ikene Remo. Osun Supreme Court delivers judgment on government petition today. Why Nigeria should join BRICS, says Falano. And presidential election petition court dismisses AA's petition. AFG presents certificate of discharge to the Transcorp Power Limited. Okay, so today by 2 p.m. on the dot, hopefully, the Supreme Court will deliver the judgment in the appeal brought before it by the immediate past governor of Osun State, Alhaji Oyetola, Adegboyega Oyetola, and his party, APC, challenging the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which affirmed Senator Ademola Adeleke as the governor of the state. The Apex Court on Monday fixed the date and time to lay to rest the legal tussle over the matter after parties in the appeal adopted their written addresses and oral submissions in the matter. So by 2 p.m. today, we'll know once and for all who is the rightful governor of Osun State. And hopefully once that happens, the matter will be put to the rest. At least
So
for the
that we
next
can
4
move
years.
on with our duties.
Please, I need to take the BRICS story. A leading activist, Mr. Femi Falana, is saying what I believe and many other economists have talked about, that Nigeria needs to join BRICS. So BRICS is acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And what BRICS is doing is creating a parallel economy from the dollarized economy. So the idea is Nigeria, instead of, according to Mr. Femi Falana, we shouldn't have redesigned the Naira. We should have focused on strengthening the Naira by taking away our attention from dollars and asking people that buy our crude oil to pay us in Naira. That automatically strengthens our Naira. They also mentioned that we signed an agreement with China, a 16 billion or a 720 billion Naira bond with China to do a direct exchange. We all celebrated on the show when it happened a few years back. But the IMF and the World Bank have, according to the paper, had imposed on CBN and frustrated the currency swap, which would have benefited Nigeria and reduced our overdependency
on the US dollar.
So I'm
It's a conversation we've had for years. We've been saying this for, even Nima re-echoes it often. I know that the Honourable Minister of Financial Affairs, we've been saying this thing for years, that we need to have that parallel economy of the dollar.
Get people to buy from us in our currency.
Comes in from
We are
China.
the ones selling. Now we're selling like beggars.
And many countries too have started doing the same thing.
Yes, the BRICS. That's why they should join the BRICS.
We need to wake up.
Okay, it's a conversation we should be having, but hopefully, the first things first, let the new administration even come in first. Then we'll now start demanding for certain things once they start.